Hi, welcome back to WonderArt Day at Amazement Square Anywhere. I'm Miss Ann.
I'm Miss Rachel.
And we're here today to talk about rainbows. Now, it doesn't seem like I would talk about rainbows by starting off with density, but I need to start off telling you about density. Miss Rachel, do you know what density is?
I think it has something to do with whether things sink or float.
Oftentimes it does, yes. Things that are not dense usually will float, and things that are very dense usually will sink. Can you think of something that would sink easily?
A stone?
A stone. Stones are usually very dense. How about something that would float?
A rubber ducky.
A rubber ducky. And it's full of air usually, and things full of air tend to float. Now, air is also not very dense. That's why it floats in the air around us instead of sinking right to the ground. So clearly, water is more dense than air, or we would have water just hanging in the air everywhere. Now, we're going to talk about the density and about the molecules inside. I have a piece of styrofoam here, and styrofoam is a special type of plastic that is puffed full of air, and its molecules are not very close together, therefore it is not very dense. Miss Rachel, what do you think of that?
Yeah, pretty light. I could probably do a few reps with this.
There you go. Now I have something the same shape, almost the same size, but this one is not as light. This one is very dense. Are you ready?
I'm gonna use two hands.
All right.
Woo. That is much heavier.
Big difference. We could hold this one with just a couple of fingers. This one, Miss Rachel has to use two hands because it is very dense. And usually the denser something is, the heavier it is too. So let's put our examples to the side and we're going to talk about liquid density. So we're going to try to make a rainbow in a jar. And because different liquids have different densities, some of them will float on top of others. If you've ever looked at your salad dressing, whenever you first take the bottle of salad dressing out of the refrigerator, have you ever noticed what it looks like before you shake it up?
Yeah, it's kind of separated. There's usually the olive oil closer to the top and water usually closer to the bottom.
Yeah. Usually Italian dressing has herbs and spices mixed with water, and then you put oil in it and shake it up, and it all tastes really great on your salad. But after the bottle sits for a while, the oil floats up to the top because oil is not as dense as water. So we have two vases here that we're going to pour our liquids in one by one, and you'll be able to see that some are more dense than others because the more dense ones will stay at the bottom and the less dense ones will float on top of each other. So I'm going to just use this smaller one because I don't want to waste too much product. But if you're doing this at home, you could use an old water bottle. You could use an old jelly jar, whatever you want.
My favorite, pickle jar.
Pickle jars? Yeah.
See what the density of the pickle juice is.
There you go, pickle juice. I wonder what density that would be. So first we have to mix our liquids. And I have 5 different liquids, so we have 5 different jars. Miss Rachel, let's start with the first one I have over here. This is corn syrup. Now corn syrup is made from corn. It's sticky and sweet.
Makes a really good pecan pie.
It does. You cannot make pecan pie without it. Now, sometimes people get maple syrup, and it's mostly corn syrup, just enough maple flavoring to make your pancakes taste good. And let's try some Dawn dish soap. I love the color of Dawn dish soap. Did I tell you blue's my favorite?
You did tell me that. It's a very luminous blue.
It is. Pretty.
I think that's about it.
That should do it. All right, next let's have some plain old water. Excellent. And then we need some vegetable oil.
Could we also use olive oil as well?
You could. I think that the vegetable oil is a light enough color that we can put our colors in it. Sometimes vegetable oil is or olive oil is a little bit darker.
That's true.
And then finally we have some isopropyl rubbing alcohol. Very nice. Now just looking at the two, the water and the rubbing alcohol look the same. but the rubbing alcohol is actually much less dense than the water. And we have them in order of density right here. Corn syrup, Dawn dish soap, water, vegetable oil, and rubbing alcohol. So let's put our colors into them.
Yes, you did say something about a rainbow. And I was
Yes.
going to say, where do we get to put colors in?
You were waiting and waiting. You're thinking
I was.
this is turning into a science experiment, not an art project. All right, so our first one, oh, we didn't talk about Roy G. Biv.
We didn't, and I don't know that everybody knows.
Have
the
you ever
order
heard
the
of
colors.
Roy G. Biv?
I think we should tell them.
We probably should. Roy G. Biv are the letters that help you remember the order of the rainbow, because there is a specific order. When a rainbow is made outside in nature, when the raindrops are falling and the sunlight shines through it, the light refracts and we're able to see the colors that are broken apart, and that makes the rainbow, and they're always in the same order.
Mm-hmm.
The first one,
Red,
orange,
yellow,
green,
blue,
purple. Sometimes people say indigo at the very end, but we're gonna stop with purple.
and V for violet.
And violet, yes. Okay. So, let's put some of our purple in to our corn syrup.
Ooh,
Think it needs to be a little darker than that?
maybe.
I think so. Let's go a few more
I
drops.
really love purple, so I'm never going to say no to more purple.
Purple is Miss Rachel's favorite. Alright. How's that?
Looks very good. You can almost mistake it for jam.
That's true. And it would taste sweet because corn syrup is just basically the sugar out of corn. Alright, I'm gonna wipe this on my towel here.
Do we really need to add color to the Dawn soap?
I think I would add some more blue to the Dawn soap just because blue's my favorite and I want it to be a very pretty, deeper color of blue.
I thought you might say that, and I approve. You want a really
Ooh, look
radiant
at that
rainbow.
blue. Now that's a pretty blue. All right. What comes next, Miss Rachel?
Yellow. Green. We're wrong. Roy G. Biv. Green.
Green. All right. So
It's
we're putting
why I have to
green
look.
into our water. Give that a little stir.
See, this is why you
Beautiful.
have to remember Roy G. Biv, because otherwise
That's
you'll
right.
slip
Well,
up.
we're doing it backwards too.
We're
That
doing
makes
it
a little.
backwards.
This is like trying to say the alphabet backwards. It's a little trickier.
Have to practice.
And we're skipping orange because we only have 5 types of liquid here to demonstrate today.
Yeah, and the
It's
oil
not that we
is-
don't like orange particularly,
Yeah.
but
And the oil is already a little yellow, so that should make the yellow food coloring easy to see.
now here's the tricky thing though. Food coloring is water-based and water doesn't mix with oil very easily. We already talked about the salad dressing. If you look, I just have a bunch of little balls of orangey yellow inside my oil there because oil and water do not mix. So that's going to be an interesting combination yellow and orange layer.
I think it'll be really cool looking.
It should be. And then we have our rubbing alcohol, which we're going to tint red. Nice, bright red.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, here comes the tricky part. We're going to pour each of these one by one into our jar.
Alright.
And I only want to go 1/5 of the way, so probably to right there.
That looks about right.
We're just eyeballing.
If you want to be more precise, you could always measure with a measuring cup or spoon.
There's my purple layer.
So that looks really good.
All right, so that's my corn syrup purple layer.
Ready to pour them in the blue Dawn?
I'm ready, but we have to pour it very carefully so it doesn't blop right in. So let's try to go as slowly as we can to make sure it stays on the surface. Can you tell if it's staying on the surface?
Looks like it. Looks like there's a nice clean line missing.
All right. And you know, in order to be able to see this better, if we shine a light on it,
Ooh,
can you see it with the light?
yeah.
Does that look good?
Looks real good. Think we're ready to add that green
I
water?
think so. Here comes the green. Bring it down the side of the jar. Thanks.
You're welcome.
I'm a sloppy pourer. Now it's mixing a little bit, but I hope it settles down and separates again.
It probably will understand.
All right.
Liquids of different densities do usually settle.
They should settle, yeah. Settle down, liquids.
Settle down, liquids.
All right. Now here comes that layer that we were trying to make more yellow, but we ended up with orange balls in a yellow liquid.
It's just a different facet of the rainbow.
Look how bubbly it looks when I first pour it in.
Very interesting. But you'll notice the green has already settled out of the Dawn soap a bit.
Some vegetable oils look much more yellow than that too.
That is true.
And now finally, we have our red layer. Do you remember what this liquid was?
Rubbing alcohol.
Rubbing alcohol, and it is less dense than oil. So here we go on top. It's sinking down in, but then it wants to separate right away.
Gets pushed right back up.
Look at that. Get my sloppy towel out of the way.
That is a beautiful rainbow in a jar mixing.
It is a beautiful rainbow in a jar. I wish I could keep it forever. Can you see it? Does it make a difference when I shine the light through it?
It does.
And if you look very closely, you can see each layer is completely separated from each other. That is very cool.
Very cool, Liz Ann.
I like it.
So what other art projects can we make with density other than a rainbow in a jar?
Well, I was thinking that we can use this concept to make our art project today.
Okay.
Actually, is that a white paper over there? Can I see that white piece of paper? I think if I hold the white paper behind the jar, it might show up better. Can you see the colors through it better that way? Nice. All right, so using these concepts of mixing and putting colors in, we're going to make a sensory bottle. Okay. So I have a bottle for you, and I have a bottle for myself. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put things in our jars, and we're going to then be able to put the lids on, glue them on tightly, and then we'll be able to play with them and tilt them back and forth and watch how the liquids mix and blend and separate. Now you have to remember, if we want to have the whole concept of the mixing and separating, we can't have things that will mix together and stay mixed.
We need two different liquids of two different densities.
Exactly. And we have to have liquids that are not going to be water soluble. Because if it's water soluble, that means you can mix it in water. So soap can mix in water and it might not separate again. It might stay mixed. So we're going to make sure that each of us have some kind of oil and some kind of water. And we're going to put some color into our water because we know that the food coloring is water soluble. We can mix it with our water. We found out we can't mix it with our oil. It just doesn't want to mix. So what color would you like to use?
I'd like purple.
I thought you were going to say purple.
I'm so predictable.
There you go. And I'm going to say blue. So I'm going to put a few drops in mine.
Okay, I'll put a few drops in there.
And you can make it a very light color or you can make it a dark color. It's entirely up to you.
I'm going to go with dark.
And if you hand down the bottle of water there, we can each put water in. And we'll see just how dark our liquid is going to turn out. Glug, 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 glug. All right.
I was about to say, how full should I fill my bottle?
It's entirely up to you. I'm going to do less oil, more water. Maybe you can do more oil and less water.
Okay.
It's a pretty shade of blue.
So maybe I should stop just under that?
I think so. All right. We'll put that over here out of our way. And now we have all types of things that we can put in there too. So we're going to pretend that this is our salad dressing. That's going to separate every time you let it sit still. But instead of putting herbs and spices, we're going to put things. And we can't put things that will fall apart in water. So pieces of paper probably wouldn't work well. They would just get soggy and mushy looking. So if we use things like beads or glitter, we have a whole bunch of different types of beads here. Old buttons, Google eyes, anything that you can think of that won't get soggy in water. So not puzzle pieces because those are cardboard.
Yeah.
And it has to be able to fit in my jar too.
What about glitter?
Glitter would be great. I actually cut up some pieces of aluminum foil into little tiny pieces because I thought those would look cool, so I'm going to put those in.
Yeah, you made me some too.
I did, because you said you like things that are sparkly.
I do like things that are sparkly.
And we have a lot of aluminum foil, so I was able to cut up some for you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I think I'm going to use all my pile. There.
I don't know that I'm going to use all of mine because you also set me out some glitter. I think I am good with some glitter.
Glitter's always fun. I'm going to make mine an ocean theme. So I found some old seashells from last year at the beach, and I'm going to put seashells in them.
Wow. I see you also cut me up some purple crayon.
I did. I thought chunks of purple crayon won't mix with water, right?
Yeah.
And
Give
they
it
might
some
look
really nice
cool. I'm going to
texture.
put some beads in mine and some flower shapes and just some regular ones. And then we can look at our things that we put in there, and we can tell which of our objects are more dense because some of them will sink and some of them will float.
That's true, Miss Anne.
And I had these beads that I thought were cool. Where did my scissors go? I lost my scissors. Here they are. I'm going to cut these beads apart and put them in
That's a good idea, Miss Anne.
because I thought these were really pretty beads. I can see them sinking already. My aluminum foil didn't sink. It's all sitting on top.
Yeah, the glitter is also sitting on top.
Oh, really?
It must not be very dense.
I wonder how many beads I need. We'll go and take a look.
I don't know.
It's starting to look interesting.
I have one bead that sank and one bead that's floating. That's very interesting.
It is very interesting. Very interesting, like Jack Sparrow says. Well, there's another shell. And I have some old pieces of broken jewelry here too.
Ooh, like some potions.
Some pearls.
Ooh.
Somebody's pearl necklace fell apart. A bead.
I think I'm gonna put some details in mine.
Okay.
It's gonna be kind of like a mermaid.
Oh, nice. Look at this pink bead.
Ooh.
You want that in yours?
Sure. I have been going very heavy on the pinks and purples.
I think you have a theme going.
I do. And thank you for helping me, Miss Anne, with the colors today. Not a lot of people know this, but Miss Rachel is just a teeny bit colorblind. That means she has a hard time seeing different shades of colors.
She still sees them, she just doesn't see them the same way we do. So I think things are still very pretty when you see them, right?
Yes. And I can see that yours is blue and mine is purple. Just if someone were to ask me the difference between this blue and navy blue, I might have a little bit of a hard time.
Gotcha. So you're just a little bit colorblind.
Just a little bit.
All right, so once you have enough things in there, ooh, look at this one. This is a metal bead. I'll bet you it's more dense than the plastic beads.
I bet you too. Oh, dropped right to the bottom.
Would you like a metal bead also?
Sure.
I have a couple of things that look sort of like shiny pieces of shells.
I think I'm gonna call my sensory bottle Mermaid's Purse.
You want some yellow scales in yours?
Sure.
They kind of look like scales. They're a piece of old broken jewelry. I don't know what they really are.
Well, purple and yellow are complementary colors. so
That's
I
true,
chose
they
that.
are. All right. Put that one more in. And I think that'll be enough for me.
Yeah, I think I'm ready. What's the next step? Miss
So our
Anne?
next step is we have to add our oil. And we want to be careful not to get oil around the top because you know how things are when they're oily.
Very slippery.
They're slippery and that means our glue won't stick. And we want to glue it shut so that it doesn't just leak everywhere. So I'm going to use some baby oil.
Okay. I think I'm going to use some of this vegetable oil.
Good plan. There I go, very carefully.
I was about to say, I'm doing it very slowly.
All right. Now don't fill it the whole way to the tippy top because we want to have enough room for things to move around. So it's not like a snow globe that you don't want an air bubble. We do want an air bubble.
So
in
about
this.
there, do you think?
Yeah, perfect.
Ooh, look at that purple and yellow oil.
Mine's taking a longer time to drip out again. I should have cut a bigger hole, but I was trying to be neat and tidy.
That's what, you know what they say, Miss Anne, slow and steady wins the race.
That's true. Hey, you want to hear my joke about density?
Sure.
What weighs more, a pound of bricks or a pound of feathers?
Don't they both weigh the same?
They do. But if you catch somebody off guard, they always want to say the pound of bricks weighs more because bricks are heavier. But a pound is a pound. It doesn't matter if you have a pound of bricks or a pound of feathers.
That's true. A pound is a pound all the world round.
That's right. But the pound of bricks won't take up as much room as the pound of feathers.
Yeah.
All right, I did slop a little bit of oil on mine, so I'm wiping it off as best I can.
All right.
And then let me grab my glue gun. And we're gonna squirt some glue all the way around that edge there. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And screw our lids on as tight as we can.
Of course, always ask for an adult's help with a glue gun, especially if you have one that gets very hot.
And if you ever do get hot glue on your fingers, just as fast as you can, rub it on your pants. Because the glue will come off of your clothes. We want to get it off your skin as fast as we can. Now, I'm sitting on the cord. Okay. If you don't have a hot glue gun, you just need any other kind of glue, like super glue or any kind of glue that's not water soluble, like Elmer's glue. And I think our glue is probably cooled. Should we try them?
I think so.
All right, watch when I turn mine upside down. We'll do one at a time.
Okay.
Ooh, check it out.
Notice how the oil is always going back to the top.
That's right. My water is the blue part, my oil is the clear part, and my objects they're sort of confused. Some of them are stuck part way. They're saying, I don't know if I want to go up or if I want to go down. And my heavier, denser items fall right away. And if I shake it,
just like salad
wow,
dressing,
look
it'll
at
mix
that.
for a minute.
And it looks like a lighter color blue.
And then it separates.
And it separates. That's right.
All
I can lay it on its side and do it that way.
Ready to try mine, Miss Ann.
Okay. Wow.
I like the glitter.
I really like the sparkles, yeah. Very cool. You know what's really cool too is holding it up to the light. Let me get my light up. Watch.
Ooh. That's pretty impressive. Miss
And
Ann.
shine the light right through. Oh, with the glitter, it really looks shiny.
And very bubbly.
Yeah,
Mine with the vegetable oil is very bubbly.
it is very bubbly. Apparently, vegetable oil and baby oil are not quite the same density because they're reacting a little bit differently.
That is true. I think I don't have my lid quite on this side. I had a little bit of a leak.
That's okay. Very cool. I like it. Yours stays mixed longer.
It does.
So you know what that tells me?
Baby oil is a little less dense than vegetable oil.
I think baby oil is less dense. And they both turned out cool, but I like the way yours turned out. Look, if I lay mine on the side, it kind of looks like ocean waves.
It does, especially with the shells at the bottom.
Yeah. And everything else, I wonder if it's like pollution in the ocean.
Oh, let's not think
Floating
about
on
that,
top.
Miss Ann.
Maybe it's just maybe it's a bunch of tiny little children floating on rafts in the waves. What do you think?
That's a gentler image.
There we go. All right.
Well, thank you, Miss Ann, for inviting me to be your guest on WonderArt Day.
You're very welcome. I like how yours still hasn't separated. I really like it with the vegetable oil better. Cool. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again the next time.
Amazing Square anywhere.